How many 8-bed assisted livings does it take to make the same amount of profit from one 16-bed? Well, if you guess it takes 2 beds, you'd be totally wrong. 2 beds is nowhere near what it takes. So let me show you what it looks like. Here's what we're going to be looking at. A 8-bed assisted living and a 16-bed assisted living. Now, we're going to be making a couple different assumptions here. The size of the 16-bed is 7,000 square feet. The size of the 8-bed is 4,000 square feet. They have the same price per square foot to build. They have the same bed rates at $6,500 per bed. There's the caregivers, the cooks, the operations director, manager. Those are all listed here, and they're the same across the board here. Now, if you have 8 beds at $6,500 per bed, you have a monthly income of $52,000, right? And for the 16-bed, it's exactly twice as much. Your income is twice as high because you have the same bed rate and twice the amount of beds. The difference being your expenses are nowhere near double for a 16-bed. It's much, much less. So let's break this down here. I'm grouping these easily into 4 different categories here. Staffing for your 8-bed and your 16 is about $29,100 for staffing, 24-hour care, and a director and a cook. This includes payroll taxes. Same here. So on the 16-bed, you jump up from $29,000 up to $37,000. Your building is your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, your utilities, your landscaping. Everything's grouped into that number. So for your 4,000 square foot building, it's $8,100 versus your bigger building at 7,000 square feet is $13,000. Then you have your food, your supplies, everything you need to get your meals, your PPE, I have all of that kind of stuff. $3,500 for the 8-bed versus $6,800 for the 16. Your operations, that includes your work comp, your hiring, your uniforms, networking activities, all the other kind of things you need. That's $2,400 versus $2,700. So you see a lot of these are not double. Now, if we have $52,000 in income, after we subtract all of these expenses, it leaves us with a whopping $8,800 per month. $8,800 versus this 16-bed. When we start this income at $104,000 and we subtract all these expenses, this is $44,600. $44,600 versus $8,800. So how many 8 beds does it take to make the same profit as 116? It's definitely not 2. You know what it is? It's actually 5. 5 8 beds to make the same profit as 116. So when you say, hey, I want to get started in assisted living, but I want to start small, I want to kind of get my feet wet, let's do an 8-bed. No, don't do an 8-bed. If you have an 8-bed and you make $8,800 per month, that is 100% occupancy the entire year. What happens when you have 1 bed empty? You make like $2,000. What happens when you have 2 beds empty? You're losing $5,000, right? Look at the risk mitigation here, right? You have 2 beds empty, you're still making $35,000. So 16 beds, 14 beds, 18 beds, those are the kind of numbers that I love. 8 beds, 6 beds, 10 beds, it is not the way to go.